Mr. Investor, welcome back to the channel, my Bngo brothers and sisters. I have been to the valley of the wilderness of the wild, wild west. And we've been piecing together that blueberry pie of Bionano genomics, baby. I think you're going to absolutely love what I got for you today, so make sure you stick around to the end. So today we're going to be talking about our senior engineer and recruitment for our consumable development division. We're going to be talking about Dr. Ravindra Kolhe. This man is a genius. We're going to be talking about how an acquisition or our beloved nano nozzle can help us eat up the marketplace. We could also be possibly used in the pet industry, and then we're gonna go and explore some of our service providers. Some of these are absolutely huge, and one of these companies has centuries of innovation and research. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I think Bngo is gonna be potentially bigger than we thought. If you're new around here, welcome. We talk about big juicy growth stocks, baby. We're also doing live streams at 4 p.m. London time on Saturdays now, so if you want to come along and just have a chat about stocks, feel free to jump in and join the live stream. And if you want to help me in my research, just click the join button. Any tier will do, and I really appreciate you guys. But if you're unable to join, just you hitting like and clicking subscribe means the world to me. Thank you. I just want to say a quick shout out to my boss level and cowboy investors, Joseph, TMG, Fred, Blue Sky on Mars, and Jay. Thank you so much for your support. I love y'all. First, let's talk about Dr. Ravindra Kolhe. This man is a true academic. He's a researcher. He's a beam of sunshine on society. I tried to email this man, but he was unavailable because he's very busy saving lives and changing the world. So as I said before, when we were talking about Harvard, I believe that once a researcher finds juicy results with one disease, they will then be willing to explore so many other disease groups. So this magnificent man not only found out and studied about structural variations in C19, but he also covered all these other previous topics, as you can see here. Aberrations in solid tumors. He also looked at prenatal applications. So now Dr. Ravindra Kolhe has found this out. What a genius. So this man is the vice chairman of pathology at the Medical College of Georgia at Augusta University, and he has described his progress in developing a laboratory developed test, LDT, for solid tumors with saphyr. So early stage, his preliminary results from his study on the first 5 glioblastoma samples. So for those of us that don't know, glioblastoma, a fast growing type of central nervous system tumor that forms from glial, supportive tissue of the brain and spinal cord, and has cells that look very different from normal cells. So glioblastomas usually occur in adults and affects the brain more often than the spinal cord. So the results from his study was showing that these first 5 glioblastoma samples showed 100% concordance between OGM, optical genome mapping, and the current workflow for solid tumor testing in his laboratory, the OncoScan SMP array platform, and he combined this also with 5 locus-specific tests using several different techniques. So what this man found was he concluded that saphyr outperformed the OncoScan array by detecting 100% of the variants found by the array platform, and many more clinical actionable events it missed. So he states that the saphyr better characterized complex events. In addition to the high performance, saphyr has reduced hands-on time, faster turnaround, and is cost-effective compared to this current combination of methods. He believes that the test developed on saphyr may help in making a more accurate prognosis and could measure therapy response. So this doctor has worked on several projects, and he's still stating that saphyr is highly accurate and possibly more accurate, saves time and saves money. So basically, the OncoScan assay is an accepted cancer diagnostic macroarray for detection. And as you can see here, it allows genomic analysis of almost all sample types, regardless of source and sample age. And Dr. Kolhe said that saphyr outperformed the OncoScan array by detecting 100%, baby. So I wanted to look at his fingerprint, baby. So as we can see here, it shows you the fingerprint, and it shows you the research topics where Dr. Ravindra Kolhe is active. And you can see here, it's everything to do with what's currently going on with the pandemic, from the SARS virus, C19, pandemics, host-pathogen interactions. But he's also looking at precision medicine, so he could be looking at a whole host of other comorbidities and diseases. So remember this hospital. The whole reason this hospital is test piloting the saphyr system is because they want to change their 30-year-old workflow onto a single high-resolution test. And this will transform the way they do cancer diagnosis. So we are constantly being looked at by researchers and professionals as being a potentially transformative and life-changing company for both research and development. That being said, there has been some institutions that have been increasing their shares. However, I had to see that all of these 13F forms have a time delay. So let's take a look at this definition. Institutional investors are allowed to delay their disclosures of quarter-end holdings via the form 13F for up to 45 days. This forbearance may help protect the institutions from potentially damaging behavior by other traders, in particular from free riding copycatters and from front runners.
What do you mean free riders? We riding a stallion.
So with the recent jumps in share price, I think we need to wait up to like 45 days and we will see a whole lot of information on institutions either buying or selling. But anyways, these institutions could have bought any time before the end of the last quarter to show their holdings, so this could be a delay. But I just want to show you Vanguard Group increased their shares by 28% here. So they've got over 7 million shares now. You guys may have seen my message before about
Geoti Capital Management
and their 944,500 shares, but they increased their share ownership by 53%. Anyways, this brings me over to the careers page at Bionano Genomics.
Oh, we hiring again. We hiring, baby, and it looks juicy. Saddle up and see all positions.
Oh, baby, is that us at Times Square? You looking naughty. Hello. As you can see in the last 2 days, we are hiring up some software development engineers and also a consumable development senior engineer. So this is for a consumable development position. Collect, organize, and evaluate consumable failure mode data to improve manufacturing yield of consumable products. If we have less failure, does this mean we have more chips? And does this mean our consumables will become cheaper? Prototyping and consumable design experience is highly desirable. And finally, required skills and abilities, experience and comfort with all phases of the product development lifecycle, including concept generation, design, prototyping, manufacturing, sustaining engineering, and failure mode analysis. So this is very, very interesting, and either way we'll be seeing and enjoying all the future innovations and developments, and we may see more cash flowing products, and we may even see this in our recent earnings. So before we explore our certified partners, I just want you to take a look at what I saw with Quest Diagnostics and what they did last month. So this is Quest Diagnostics, and I've been looking at their moves. So basically, Quest Diagnostics is an American clinical laboratory, a Fortune 500 company, and Quest operates in United States, Puerto Rico, Mexico, and Brazil. Quest also maintains collaborative agreements with various hospitals and clinics across the globe. So these guys basically help run tests and help with diagnosis. They want to just improve health outcomes for patients and empower people. So when I was doing my research on the genetic testing market, I found this, and it shows notable happenings in this market in the recent past. So you can see here a year ago, January 22, 2020, Quest Diagnostics clinical laboratory announces Finnish genetic testing company Blueprint Genetics to increase next generation sequencing capabilities for rare diseases. And later on down the line here, you see Quest is one of every of the essential laboratory testing companies globally and is currently specializing in improving next generation sequencing capabilities. The acquisition will allow Quest to boost genetic testing for rare genetic disorders. So when these guys acquired Blueprint Genetics a year ago, the reason was they wanted to improve their next generation sequencing and diagnostic tests, and this was for genetic and rare diseases. So we acquired Lineagen last year to expand our genetic testing. And if we look back into the past, this is an article from 2019, Lineagen has the ability to have multiple revenue opportunities. So back in 2017, the company generated approximately $18 million in revenue, reflecting a more than 70% plus compound annual growth rate. So Lineagen's grown even more, but it's acquisitions that really interest me. In the future, if we start cash flowing, we start making some major money, could we acquire next generation sequencing companies? Could we acquire a long read sequencing company and combine it together? Or will the nano nozzle and some of our future patents and innovations help us go into sequencing, both short read and long read? And I know you watched it. I watched it too. Dr. Alka Chaube said we are not a sequencing company, but that is as of now. But what will we become in the future? Can we become a jack of all trades?
That is the question.
Now, the reason in my live stream while I was mentioning also agriculture and why I think this is going to be big in the future, and this could be another potential stream of revenue for us. So I was looking into the history of one of our certified service providers, and we could have consistent cash flow for years to come with these guys. They are always researching, developing, and implementing innovation. This brings us to a list of service providers, but specifically I'm going to look at Corteva Agriscience. So we looked into their presentations, and Corteva is a major boss in the market. So as you can see here, the global agricultural biotechnology market size was estimated at $90 billion, and this was back in 2018. It's expected to grow at a compounded annual growth rate of 7.07% during 2018 all the way up to 2025. And there's an endless list of what it could be used for. You can see here vaccine development, transgenic crops and animals, antibiotic development, nutritional supplements, flower culturing, and biofuels. When you look into the kind of market insights, you see who the key players are, and you see Corteva right there, bang bang. So what and who is Corteva? Corteva is a major American agricultural chemical and seed company that was the agricultural unit of Dow DuPont prior to being spun off as an independent company. Headquartered in the USA, founded in 2019, 21,000 employees. The market cap is $33 billion. So I looked into their presentation. I wanted to look at the financial year 2020 and I wanted to see if there's a correlation between their sales and how we can be involved. So as you can see here from the top of the page, this is for crop protection, and you can see that their global sales has grown from 2019 to 2020, so it's up. And although it's just grown by just a few percentage, this will continue to grow for years to come. And they stated that the growth was due to lots of people asking for different types of products in different parts of the world. So in Latin America, they said there's a strong demand for new products like herbicide, pesticide, insecticides, and similarly in the Asia Pacific region too. So that was for crop protection. And what about seeds? Because these guys sell a lot of seeds. We can see here that they sold $7.8 billion worth of global net sales of different types of seeds. Here there's also a strong demand for new products, new types of seeds that are actually resistant to climate change and resistant to the breakdowns in the environment. So these guys are selling anything from North America. They're selling loads of soybeans in North America to lots of rice in the Asian regions, including rice to India and Philippines. So where does Bngo fit in all of this is your question. So this is the pipeline of their innovation, patents, and what they want to do particularly here for their crop protection portfolio is they want to have strategic partnerships, strengthening their portfolio, co-development and research funding, and also risk share. So they've got over 70 plus agreements. These guys also want to explode their organic growth by making sure they ramp up new products and drive sales of differentiated higher margin technology while continuing to invest in research and development and advancing pipeline. So they've stated this, that with their fungicides but also with some of the seeds, soybean, corn, they're always researching and developing to see how they can create the best products possible. So if we look at the history of actually who this company was, Corteva Agriscience is founded on a rich heritages of three companies, Dow, DuPont, and Pioneer. So this dates back all the way to the 1800s, 1802. This is DuPont, E.I. DuPont. And this guy had created a powder mill. Then came along man like H.H. aka Crazy Dow, and he founded Dow Chemical Company. So Dow then actually went into its first agricultural product in 1906, and the value of US farms back then was 30 billion or so. Then a guy called Henry A. Wallace actually created a hybrid corn company. So throughout history, you can see they're constantly innovating and they're unlocking different parts. And then the three companies started to expand and grow. The hybrid corn company became Pioneer Hybrid Corn. You can see that Dow then expanded over here on the right to Canada with their chemicals company and agriculture. Pioneer actually went to Canada as well. Pioneer hit $1 million in global sales, and they're constantly innovating and increasing their new products. So Dow introduced saran wrap here for household uses. I think that's like some sort of foil or probably the plastic wrap. Okay, yeah, it's actually the wrap in it. It's the cling film. So we can see here lots of materials were made. They started to create crazy money. Dow actually exceeded $1 billion here in 1964 in sales. Dow also started pushing out and test marketing Ziploc bags.
That's for your packed lunch, baby.
And then DuPont started to explore going into insecticides. And eventually further down the line, you start to see some big things happening. DuPont actually bought petroleum manufacturer Conoco. And then this guy over here, Charles J. Pedersen, won a Nobel Prize for his chemistry work with DuPont. Pioneer then became #1 in soybeans, and it went through so many stages of innovation, and they started to work on genomics in corn in 1996. Eventually, they started to expand worldwide and they went into nutrition, they entered into China, and they started to merge. So today they became Corteva Agriscience, baby. So this company values itself and focuses on innovation, as we can see here, and also research, development, and discovery. So that's why we're working with them. So that is why they're a key partner for us, because they're going to continue to research and develop, and they'll continue to explore different formulations and combinations with other innovations to meet the ever-changing needs of farmers. So we can continue to cash flow from research and development for this company. Cool. What about the other ones? Histogenetics LLC, jack of all trades, all living species, helping to lead innovation in human, plant, and animal research. The revenue I found here says 27 million, but another report says it can be from anything between 10 million to 100 million a year. And with histogenetics, what I found really interesting was they're actually using us alongside PacBio SQL. So you can see here, histogenetics is currently applying advances in genomic technologies such as the PacBio SQL and Bionano saphyr platforms for analysis of whole genome by sequencing and optical mapping, respectively. This will enable us to determine the complex genetic regions and structural variations that could be the basis for health and diseases. This information will lay the foundation for precision medicine. So all these guys are super bullish on PacBio, ARK Invest, but you can see that everybody who's in the industry decides to use us alongside those machines. We are definitely a key part. There's also talks of us being able to enter the pet industry, the animal genetic testing industry, and it's an absolutely huge market as well. In terms of our other partner, Praxis Genomics, let me show you this. They provide genetic testing with unpassed sensitivity and specificity specificity based on the combination of Bionano technology and traditional short reads Illumina sequencing of DNA and RNA. Now this is a Yahoo Finance article too. Praxis intends to demonstrate that Saphyr and NGS complement each other to provide answers to patients and families affected with genetic disorders. So in terms of the global clinical laboratory test market, you can see that it was valued at $176.7 billion in 2019, and it's going to continue to grow 7.1% for the next 8 years. And remember, in Canada, for them to be using us in large hospitals, you can see here that hospital-based laboratory segment dominated the market for clinical laboratory services and accounted for the largest revenue share of 55% of the market in 2020. This is due to a high turnaround number of patients tests, majorly for complex and severe disease conditions that are comparatively more cost intensive. As I said, 25 million tests a year, that network of hospitals in Canada, and we are cost effective and we are fast. So by working with our provider Praxis Genomics, you can see here that if we are able to have these service providers and work alongside them, we could literally be in every country in the world. Here in Europe, you can see that 3 top European sites have already adopted our Bionano Saphyr system for cancer genetics and cytogenetic applications. So these 3 big boys are huge, very important. We've got Curie Institute in Paris, France. We've got the NHS Lothian in Edinburgh, Scotland. And we've got the MVZ Martin Schried in Munich, Germany. So a little bit of background, MVZ Martin Schried in Munich, Germany is using us for cancer research. And they want to provide access to the system to neighboring research and diagnostic centers. So who is MVZ? MVZ is a part of Medicover. And Medicover is a leading international healthcare and diagnostic service company operating a large number of ambulatory clinics, hospitals, and specialty care facilities and laboratories all across Germany. Medicover, medical laboratory company, market cap 13 billion. The next one we're looking at here is the Institut Curie in Paris. They purchased a Saphyr system in January 2020, and the system has now been installed and they've trained their whole lab. The lab is fully trained. So my man like David, the head of Curie's genomics platform, he said that they're excited to bring Bionano to Curie to improve understanding of genome organization and structure in multiple aspects of cancer biology, in rare disease and for basic research. But what they believe that the Bionano technology will benefit many fantastic researchers, pathologists and clinicians at France's leading research center and hospital group in the fight against cancer. Yet again, another group of hospitals who are focusing on research and development and innovation. So you can see here they provide diagnostics, follow-up and care given to patients within a hospital group assimilated with a cancer research center belonging to a uni-cancer federation, and development of research and access to innovation, which requires Institute Curie to forge ties with economic players that will help develop innovations to assist patients and improve scientific knowledge. We're working with all the big boys, so I'm telling you, we are in there and it's going to get nice and juicy real soon. Also want to show you here that the Curie Institute here, NGS platform of the Curie Institute, has greatly evolved since 2012. So they've been using NGS for a long time, but you can see here that they actually got a grant, and the grant allowed to purchase high throughput NGS sequencers. That reminds me of nano nozzle. I see you, baby. Bionano believes that combining these nanochannel arrays with nanodetectors such as nanopores may one day enable high throughput, massively parallel long read sequencing, long reads of ultra high molecular weight DNA. So are we going to be going after both short read sequencing and long read sequencing? Because baby, I don't know what this means, but they need to tell me what the nozzle does. I'm hungry and I'm willing to know. Last but not least, the NHS Lothian in Edinburgh. So we all know what's happening with Genomics England. They've got this massive research budget. For those of you that don't know, I'll show you again. You can see here it says that they plan to increase public spending by £22 billion by 2025. So they want to put the UK on the map and become a world-leading academic and science base. And it says here that the UK has prioritized clinical impact, research and innovation in genomics for decades. I also saw Joe Butler actually hustling and trying to speak to the University of Edinburgh and also other researchers based there to see if he could get them using the Saphyr system. And the best thing about this agreement, as you can see here, is the Genetic Services Laboratory of the NHS Lothian has a history of advocating for technological improvement of the UK health system. These guys innovate and they spearhead the projects. As you can see, has spearheaded the implementation of chromosomal microarray in the clinic for detection of structural aberration of the genome. And this was magical here. Some guy called Eddie Maher, who is the head of the cytogenetic services there in the Lothian, he said that Bionano's genome imaging technology is potentially game-changing in the field of cytogenetics and cytogenomics. For the first time, we have an approach which is able to detect both balanced and unbalanced rearrangements. I anticipate that Bionano will replace many of our existing diagnostic workflows, such as karyotyping and microarrays, in the very near future. What more do I need to say, baby? That is massive, absolutely massive. Just imagine, we are working with the largest network group of hospitals in Canada. We're now doing it also in Europe. What is going to happen next? Just one of them needs to adopt our system for us to actually make some serious cash flow, because they're running tests every single day. So let's end by talking about the bigger picture. So we're heavily focused here on optical genome mapping, as you can see. But one day, will we be able to do both next generation sequencing, NGS, the short reads, and will we be able to do this third generation sequencing, long read sequencing like PacBio and Oxford Nanopore? Because if our nano nozzle can help us get into these markets for long read sequencing here, that is what Arc is expecting to grow the most. Then again, Arc exited out of Illumina, and Illumina's doing pretty well as well. But if we are able to become a next generation sequencing company as well as a long read sequencing company alongside our global dominant position as an optical genome mapping company, what would a future hold for us, baby? And the thing is, we could just literally acquire, when we start cash flowing, making money, we could acquire a next generation sequencing company or a long read sequencing company. But I think we may even develop our own patents. It just depends on the war chest, how much money is in the bank, baby. So none of this is financial advice, but my predictions for next week, just for on an entertainment basis only, is 15 plus for sure. I think we're going to hit over 15, and I think there's going to be more big institutions that are going to be piling in over the next couple months, and we're going to start to see it on Fintel, on Whale Wisdom. We'll be able to start tracking them and seeing people increasing their share ownership. But this is on conditions that people are adopting our technology and they're spending more on consumable packages and buying up our machines. We need to see sales, and I think it's coming. I think I just need to be patient and just see what the Bngo Brigade can do, baby. And if you got this far into the video, if you're able to share this video onto Twitter or into the Reddit group for Bngo, I will appreciate you so much. Also, if you're able to support me, just click the join button up here. You can pick from any tier. But if you're unable to join memberships, just you hitting like on this video, leaving me a nice comment, say what's up Miguel, hey cowboy, and also clicking the subscribe button, it means so much to me. So thank you so much for always supporting me. And by the way, we're going to be live streaming again on Saturday. It's going to be at 4 p.m. London time. Yeehaw! I wish you the best, my Bionano Genomics cowboys and cowgirls. Mr. Invest a Lot, over and out, baby.